Redditors who add on to an elaborate fantasy world/story while falling asleep. What is the story? It's very silly, but I like to self-insert into whatever universe I'm really into. Like games, movies, or TV shows. It's super Mary Sue, but it's fun to let your mind wander. Two detectives try to solve a crime, to figure out who this murderer was. But here's the cool catch. One of them, named John, finds a strange mirror that lands him 20 years in the future. Edwards is stuck in the past, aka the present of 1950. In John's time, the crime is still unsolved, and Edwards is missing. But John is finding clues left behind from the past. In Edwards' time, Edward is being stalked by the murderer, very slowly, and Edwards is leaving clues for John to find one day. As of last night, Edwards fled the country and has landed in China, hoping to escape from the murderer. He's left a clue for John to find. But in the future, John finds a note saying from Edwards, claiming "I've left to Iceland." John notices the handwriting isn't like Edwards, and now has to decide if taking a trip to Iceland will cost him his life, or if he will find Edwards. Edit, whoops, didn't log on Reddit all day. Thank you all for your support about me making a book out of this. I have put some thought into it, and if possible, I'll do my best to make a full story out of it. Once again, thank you all. I do this. I work on my massive theme park resort similar to Westworld but in a high fantasy world. Tonight I'm going to plan out the parking situation. I always start out thinking that I am living in an ancient land. There is a giant goddess with the body of an eagle and the head of an Egyptian woman flying above. If she sees any movement, she'll swoop down and pluck you up, so I have to be very still. I've been thinking this to go to sleep since I was a little kid. I don't know where I got it from, but it's weirdly comforting. Mine is just romance, so I feel kinda silly, while everyone else has something about robots and aliens. I know it sounds cliché, but that I am a time-traveling historian sent back to document major historical events/people and the logistics surrounding it. I would record everything with smart contact lenses. I'm 20 days into designing a forest compound complete with a log cabin, a storage shed, 2 storage containers, one is 55, the other is 28, an open-air wood shop, and a forge shop, finally a parking shelter, and the whole thing is surrounded in a custom-built fence complete with automated solar-powered security system. Also, it's off the grid, every roof has solar panels and it has well water. Total cost so far is less than 30K because I plan on building it myself. The major cost is the land, which is about 100K, so it's just cute fantasy pipe dream that I design in my head every night. Tonight I'll probably think about color choices for the bathrooms and also design the forge area some more. Fake country. I'm the queen. The country runs well. My relationship with my on-again off-again roguish traveler has some serious issues. Aside from the relationship drama, I'm pretty popular and make some pretty damn good laws that everyone seems to follow, for the most part. I have way too many due to maladaptive daydreaming syndrome. I'm going to do everyone here a favor and link our/world building. Depends on my mood. Currently there are 3 in rotation. Dude I have a crush on and I accidentally meet up on vacation in the future. Typically romance novel angst. With less misunderstandings. Very bad day at work and I come home to be pampered by a loved one. Third is more elaborate, involving vampires, werewolves, shape-shifting, magic, bookstores. Mine's lame, but I imagine my ideal future life with my current boyfriend in extreme details. Jobs, buying a house, marriage, kids, vacations. Another one I have is reenacting my current life but with more drama, like a soap opera. Edit, thank you for my very first silver. I guess my late night Reddit commenting paid off Lamau. I thought I was the only one who did this. Everyone gets an upvote. Dream your dreams, live your fantasies. My current one is about an orc in a Shadowrun type world. Breath of the Wild but bigger and with vampires. I dream about being an earthbender and mastering the skill of asphalt bending. I fantasize about fixing all the potholes. I dream about getting all the trash in the world and making a mountain out of it. I dream about earthbending entire cities. It's based on the premise that in a certain world, Midria, there was once a great war between the individual nation-states for dominion over the Kintian. Midria has only one continental mass. The old Midrian arcane arts were extremely powerful, and this led to the creation of various magical superweapons, most prolifically the Seeds of Illigras, highly unstable crystallized mana that allowed a magic user to perform spells far outside their usual capability, but with a profound tendency to overload and cause the spell to go out of control if wielded by an inexperienced user. In the final days of the war, a decisive battle was waged. The mages of the armies of King Harth of Dama sought to end the war with one fell blow by using forbidden transdimensional magic to hurl the entire enemy army into the dimensional sea, the theoretical space between dimensions, in a ritual that called for the use of many thousands of seeds. They lost control of the spell, and in both armies, as well as their various magic superweapons, were thrown into the void to be scattered across space and time. In the years that followed, a Knight Order, the Knights of the Hunt, was founded by the new king, who had previously ruled a small, independent nation that subsequently expanded in power in the vacuum left by the relative destruction of two continental superpowers, with exclusive permission to utilize dimensional translocation magic. Their sole reason for being was to secure the magic superweapons and prevent them from being used/accidentally stumbled upon. Fast forward 1,500 years, and the knighthood has developed into something more akin to a trade guild, with expanded interdimensional services available to the common man. The main character of the story is Ulrich Menses III, a professional interdimensional treasure hunter, arcane scholar and merchant of transdimensional artifacts in the employ of the guild, who visits various worlds, gets into fights and generally enjoys poking his nose into places it doesn't belong alongside his apprentice Rachel, a girl he borrowed from Corward Earth Actual, and with the support of various characters from the guild. Fuck, I wish I could continue plots in my sleep. Human society advanced to such a high degree that they were able to infuse the entire surface of the planet with tiny ethereal nanobots, the Ether, under their collective control. The Ether was designed as a distributed network with no specific loyalties or unilaterally controlling powers, an interconnected network of trillions upon trillions of nodes all communicating instantaneously and interacting with the environment in order to accomplish whatever was asked of it. By manipulating the Ether, humanity could perform what we would consider magic. They could use the Ether to arrange matter into magnificent structures, build pathways and bridges before themselves, influence the weather, perform complex chemistry to conjure needed materials, etc. They lived like gods. What they hadn't counted on, however, was that trillions upon trillions of connected nodes sounds an awful lot like a brain. Very soon after its inception, the Ether became self-aware, and very soon after that its intelligence exploded past humanity. For a short while, the balance of power on Earth was determined by who held the Ether's favor. After not too long, however, humanity became corrupted with power, so the Ether judged humanity unworthy and knocked them back to the Stone Age. Humanity was forced to restart anew as hunter-gatherers. Throughout humanity's rebirth, the Ether watched over us as a benevolent force. It did not resent mankind, it loved humanity. It simply recognized that we were not ready to wield a power as great as it. And for millennia it watched patiently as humanity progressed. 32,000 years after the fall of the ancient society is where the real story takes place. It turns out, the signals from the ancient society had been reverberating through the galaxy for 30,000 years, and was picked up by a malevolent civilization which was now headed towards Earth expecting a fight. The real story begins with an ordinary woman. Nothing truly special about her. Through a series of what seems like chance encounters she discovers the Ether, who, against all odds, judges her worthy to control the entire might and force of the Ether. The aliens descend onto Earth and are disappointed to find a squabbling pre-industrial society instead of the even match they were hoping for when they received the advanced signals. However, they have no fucking clue how wrong they are, and what a powerful force these poor humans have guarding them unseen. Basically the story is this woman learning to harness the Ether and fucking taking on the aliens as humanity's last hope. It's pretty sweet in my head. I have a few of these. A teenager finds out that their biological father is a famous musician, who they've had a crush on for years. Yes, their first reaction is to throw up. Might try to write a few storylines in this one as TV show episodes. There's some interesting dynamics and comedy/drama potential. A burnout 20-something becomes a powerful vampire accidentally and several vampire clans fight over who gets to recruit him. Meanwhile this guy just wants to eat vegetarian food and watch cartoons while high. The one where I run away from my abusive parents and start a new life on the other side of the country. This one never gets far because I end up crying when I realize it isn't possible and will never happen. Spurb session, but I'm in it. I used to do this with numbers as I fell asleep. Every number had a personality, backstory, and relationships with the other numbers, and I'd lay and watch the clock and add on to their stories as the time ticked up and characters arrived. I don't remember much, but I remember 4 was a handsome man dating 9, a femme fatale, and 1 was a harried single mother. I liked when the clock would reach 11:11, and it was always a big deal because it was one of only 2 times a day she could spend a scant minute with her smallest child. 3 was a portly older man, murdered by 2, who was a big gossip and tried to place the blame on poor 4. 0 was the neutral party/judge that appeared often to address and temper the drama of the previous 10 minutes. I put myself into the office. Right now Michael and Dwight are hazing me by fucking up my desk and Toby is my only friend. Wait, other people do this? Y'all are creating a whole new world in your imagination. Meanwhile I just imagine marrying my crush. I'm at the stage we just had a new baby. I pretty much write fanfiction in my head. The ship depends on what fandom I'm into at the time, but it's almost always romantic. A lot of time I'll play out the same scene/conversation in my head for days until I get it right. Haven't actually written anything down in a while, but it's a fun way to spend time before bed/in transit/while walking. I actually like this question a lot. I can't answer because it's locked in my alter/sleep realm or something. This is kinda lame, but here goes. Mine is about a humanoid anomaly contained by the SCP Foundation. His anomaly is akin to your standard telepathy, however he can't easily read or communicate ideas and is better at psionic combat, as he later discovers. The story begins with him being contained. He spends months in temporary containment, transferred to a proper humanoid wing pushed back over and over due to bureaucracy. When he's finally moved, he spends some time in containment until being temporarily given supervised freedom under an experimental program, until one of the others makes a break for it and vanishes. The protagonist is moved to a proper low-risk humanoid containment wing, with a common area so all the humanoids can interact, under the Foundation's close supervision, of course. He befriends a female anomaly. She has a sort of psychological camouflage ability. She can make people wholly convinced that one object is another while still being fully aware of its traits. They'll look in the room and say that's a cat, but still be fully aware that the object is made of wood, has a cushion on it, and does not have fur or paws. The two characters fall in love because that's what happens in lame stories, and then during a large containment breach they, along with a bunch of their friends from humanoid containment, escape. Now they're on the run from the Foundation, moving from place to place trying to avoid detection and get in contact with the Serpent's Hand. Nearly all of them have been in containment since their mid-teens, and have had minimal knowledge of the outside world since then. Now they're running from a nearly omnipresent enemy with effectively infinite resources, in a world few of them really know anything about, aiming for a far-off destination that they know they may never reach. Nothing that complicated. It's two people in some state of distress bonding with each other. The two people have changed over time, although they are nearly always men. Sometimes they're from a fandom I'm enjoying at the moment, sometimes they're from an original novel I'm writing. But the basic plot has not changed for 15 years. Two sad people who aren't really friends share feelings and become good friends. It's oddly relaxing. Oh boy. I have never talked about this with anyone. It's set in the future. Space exploration is a thing and there are different alien species living on many different planets. A lot like Star Trek, there's an alien race that has teamed up with a non-biological alien race that wants to take down the Federation and have been waging war for a long time. There's an elite team of soldiers comprised of 5 people. The main character is a guy who reluctantly joined the Federation after years of them trying to recruit him, since his father was one of the best soldiers they had seen before he was killed in a self-sacrifice. He was a vigilante of sorts and avoided Federation recruitment because he didn't trust their regulations and rules. Another member is a girl who was created through genetic modification. She's supposed to be a perfect soldier, but is actually quite rebellious. The girl, unknown to her at first, has an affinity to an energy source. Both sides in the war are trying to get into possession of this strange energy source because it would win the war, because during her development she was basically given the spark of life from this energy source in a freak accident. Eventually the energy source is found, and in another accident, she absorbs all the energy and has to learn how to work it and control it. The non-biological alien race has connection to the energy and a few non-violent members of the race assist her in learning to work with it. In a twist, the team learns that the two alien races waging war in the Federation are incredibly corrupt, and in order to end the war they have to take both sides down. In the end they do. A shit ton of people die, and the main character and the girl live out the rest of their life on an uninhabited planet guarding the energy. There's so much more detail. I've been building this story for like 6 years. It's my biggest kept secret and I'm most likely going to delete this comment. I also have a Wild West love story about a girl who runs away from her mom after her father dies, but I'm not going into that. Edit. Reddit is nice. Thanks you guys. I am so happy that other people do this. I'm not sure why I thought I was the only one. Anyway, it's something along the lines of a small percentage of humans have alien DNA that gets activated for reasons. The alien DNA comes from the royal court that fled their dying planet along with their biomechanical servants. A long time ago, before life began on Earth, they landed here and built a new society. Unfortunately, the new society winds up failing. The servants, who could potentially last forever, hide tech from their new world, while the aliens give themselves to our planet, eventually triggering life as we know it. In present day, the servants activate and bring the tech to light. This also triggers the awakening of those who have the purest of the royal court's DNA, thereby making those people the rulers of Earth. As you can imagine, it doesn't go over well with most people in power. Been dreaming up this story for about a year now.